The southeast of Cameroon is rich in a vast expanse of tropical forest. The forest that forms part of the Congo Basin rainforest is rich in large varieties of flora and fauna, some of which are very rare species in the world today. It spans as far east as the Central African Republic and as far south as the Congo, and straddles two divisions of the east region of Cameroon, the Buba Ngoko division and the Opanyong division. This forest has been gazetted into 3 national parks, the Bubambek, Benki, and the Lobeke national parks, covering a total of 760,000 hectares. A ride through this forest leaves one awed by its sheer beauty and natural world. It's over 50 large mammals that include such iconic species like chimpanzees, gorillas, and elephants, its 300 endemic bird species, and its 201 wood species have all combined to make this forest a very, very special place. But the forest is also home to indigenous Baka pygmies, numbering 30,000 in the region. These are hunters and gatherers who depend almost entirely on the forest for their livelihood.
We are asked not to go into the forest, but we go into the forest only to get the basics for our subsistence. We don't waste forest resources. If there is no forest, I can't buy salt. I can't resolve the little problems I am facing here. We harvest yams from the forest. We harvest mangoes, we harvest honey, and we also hunt animals.
But this forest is now threatened by illegal logging, which is so much entrenched in the region, and the Bakas say they are worried by the phenomenon. Poachers are threatening the forest's rich wildlife, especially flagship species like elephants, gorillas, chimpanzees, and parrots. Every day, game rangers get involved in running battles with poachers in the region. Most of them are heavily arms that are generally trafficked across Cameroon's borders with the Central African Republic and the Congo. Although the Bakas are essentially a hunter-gatherer people, this type of unsustainable hunting isn't part of their culture, and they are worried about the situation.
We eat meat, but we also know that our children will grow up to eat meat. It is frustrating that the Kakos, people who live in the villages, just come here and kill animals indiscriminately. I am worried that one day my 4 children will grow up to find that there are no animals in the forest.
The poaching is really impacting those people because this is the reduction of wildlife population. And you know, Baka peoples are really closed with the wildlife resources because they are only using these resources for their user rights. It is because of now we are in economical environment which is increasing day by day. We have monetarization of economy. That's a changing behavior of these people. And while it is why they are most involved in poaching now. But the main problem that we have is that the Baka will go sometime and kill an animal, but it's not the owner of the arm, of the gun. There is somebody behind who is just using it. And what we are doing now is to better sensitize those people, these Baka people, to the role that they have to play inside. That is for local poaching. And the other problem which is impacting a lot of those indigenous people is transfrontier poaching. We have now the circulation of wagons. And we have Kalashnikov in those because due to the infiltration of poacher coming from neighbor countries. This is the real danger of our fauna here, and I think this type of poaching is really have a negative impact of the livelihoods of Baka people. And we are working with them to help us to detect those international poachers.
In addition, the influx of mining companies in the region, such as the iron exploitation project in Balam, has brought untold consequences for the environment. More roads are being opened up in the region, making it easier for poachers to operate. The mining activities are successfully wrecking the environment as full forest areas are destroyed.
I must say that it's not only Cam oil miners who are here. There are also those of Jovic around the park. It's really difficult. Ever since it was announced that the iron exploitation company, Cam Iron, was coming, the inhabitants of Ngula all left from Balam looking for jobs. And as you well know, their presence here also makes animals to suffer. The solution is in the creating of a platform of collaboration with Cam Iron to try and step exercises to combat poaching.
The combined effects of poaching, illegal logging, and mining activities have left many Bakas wondering what the future holds for them should their forest and its wildlife disappear. The Cameroon government and its partners have, however, been resolutely engaged in the fight against the environmental crimes. It was thus that the 3 national parks and the 23 logging concessions were created in the region. But the creation of these parks and logging concessions axiomatically constitute a threat to the Bakas who now have to grapple with these new challenges. Over the years, it has been realized that Bakas' customary rights have not been central to conservation efforts. Logging concessions and national parks fall within the permanent forest domain, thereby obliging the state to impose restrictions to access to these forest areas. Although the 1994 wildlife laws emphasized on the need to protect the user rights of indigenous peoples, this has hardly been the case with the Bakas, who found the creation of the parks as a restriction of their rights to the forest they consider their natural home.
For us, the Baka, if we don't eat meat, you can't get a wife because you won't be able to make her pregnant. Meat gives fertility. If children don't eat meat, they can't grow well. They are now telling us to come and live in the villages. We don't know about villages. Those people who live in the village rear pigs. We Bakas don't rear pigs. We don't rear chicken. Our pigs are in the forest. So it's not right for the government to tell us to leave the forest. The government and WWF have asked us not to go into the forest. They say we should not kill elephants, gorillas, and chimpanzees. We are afraid when a Baka man is seen in the forest by game rangers, he is accused of poaching. They are now telling us to eat fish. The Baka don't know anything about fish.
The Cameroon Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife has been quick to perceive this loophole in the conservation effort.
First of all, the existing laws relating to the management of protected areas prohibit all human activities in the parks. Nevertheless, the study I was talking to you about, which is actually a participative piece involving conservators on the one hand, and the local population, particularly the Parcers, seeks to prohibit the Parcer access rights to the forest.
Nous essayons de négocier avec les Parcers leur niveau d'implication. Qu'est-ce qu'ils peuvent faire tout en conservant la ressource?
Together, we need to define what they can do in the forest, especially sustainable ways of gathering. We will then propose to the ministry in charge of forests to integrate the recommendations of the study in the management plan of the park. The document will become to us a working tool which will be followed like the Bible.
Et ce document, pour nous et les Parcers, pourra nous servir d'un document de travail au niveau du terrain. Nous suivrons ce document comme la Bible.
Le peuple Parcer, c'est un peuple qui ne peut pas vivre en dehors de la forêt.
The Parcers can't live out of the forest. Within the framework of the management plan of the key national park, WWF is supporting us with this study they are carrying out. The study seeks to find out how much time the Parcers spend in the forest, how far they go into the forest, what they do there, and whether their methods are sustainable. I think at the end of it all, we could be led to create community zones. Why not? So that the Parcers can continue to carry out their activities. Because, like I said before, the Parcers can't live outside the forest. But we are also worried about the exploitation of the Parcers by the Bantus. The Bantus give them guns to wreck the park, but we are already taking appropriate measures. In the Bumba and Goko, Parcers are frequently trapped in poaching, but being a delicate people, we treat them with a lot of care.
Les Bantous qui les exploitent.
Conservation paradigms are thus shifting from protecting only animals and trees to finding solutions that work for people.
The policy is to better involve local populations in the sustainable use of forestry and wildlife resources, and particularly Parcers because they are the indigenous people. And what the policy, the expression, in fact, in this southeast area is that one of the measures that was taken is to delimitate an area, particularly as an example in the National Park of Lobeke, where Parcers people can express